Welcome back to another edition of DevHub Live. This is a bonus episode in between 48 and 49. And I'm excited today to take the time to go through kind of a retrospective of what DevHub Live has been and kind of what holds for the future and everything else, and kind of reflect back on a lot of lessons learned so far and kind of how DevHub Live has grown. Uh, we are at 48 episodes completed. We have 49 next week officially. We have bonus episodes and workshops mixed in there too. So we've actually done quite a bit of shows, but the way we count episodes are things that are kind of, again, a little bit more organized around something, usually a guest, something like that. And so we have had 48 of those. Again, 49 coming next week with Aurora talking about some of the stuff that's happening over there. But for today, I want to go back and talk a little bit about what I think I have gotten out of DevHub Live and what I think people who have been watching and following along should have as well. And it's something that for me and for the developer community, I think it's really important to be able to reflect on what is happening with builders, what is actually being built, and how is the technology that you are working with is evolving and growing and changing over time. So let me give you a quick kind of overview of what DevHub has been, the mission statement of it. DevHub Live has been in the mission statement, and then we'll talk a little bit about some of the different things there. So we started back in last April, so we've been around for about a year. And again, the focus has really been around like ecosystem updates, technical deep dives, obviously lots and lots of guests, some Q&A, all different things like that, hackathon stuff. And there's some core themes that have popped up over the 48 episodes and the workshops and everything else. One is that there has been a constant stream on Near of updating tooling and infrastructure. That has been something that we have consistently been able to report on, be able to talk about, bring people on, both, I will call it like in-house tooling and stuff like that, as well as external things as well. A lot of different hackathon content information, and not just like announcing winners, but also like process, how to better approach hackathons, things like that. We've also had tons of great, guests over time, and really around like ecosystem growth, different projects that are around there. And then obviously a lot of projects are working on like centralization based things. So taking a topic and a concept and building a project that then leverages blockchain to do that. Some of it is fully native blockchain, some of it's not. But I think that's really an important piece of all of this. One of the mission statements of doing DevHub Live was to be community centric as best as possible. And so we really tried to bring on guests and highlight things that I believe have been valuable to the developer community and valuable to those who are either interested in building here or already building here, and that you can kind of continue to grow and learn and kind of go from there. Some of the things here, and I think it took a little bit of time to find our footing a little bit. So I would say like the first, probably dozen episodes really was like, the launch of DevHub, when DevHub was launched, and kind of, not just DevHub Live, but DevHub that was launched, what kind of community stuff was happening there, what kind of the government's approach of that. Obviously some infrastructure, talking about tooling, things like that. We started with a lot of technical deep dives to kind of those first probably 24 episodes of just kind of like focusing on like what exists here and near today and things like that. As the episodes went on, we certainly started to focus much more on projects coming in, guests coming in that are leveraging Near in different ways, and focusing on, again, things like, how can I include smart contract into my project? But also like, what are some different DeFi stuff? We talked about some AI stuff. We had a lot of different groups talking about different pieces of AI. We had repeat guests that were constantly building and kind of growing and doing different things in the ecosystem. And we've had projects on here that are actually already no longer existing, and so or they move to different chains, and that happens too. And that's kind of the life cycle of building and being part of any technology stack. It's not just a Web3 thing; it's everything. I do want to highlight some, I think, really key episodes though that were for important in the growth of DevHub Live, and I think that are relevant to developers even today. Uh, Episode 6. So Vlad of DevHub fame here, and he's done a few different coding workshops and everything else. But early on, he kind of breaks down the vision for what DevHub is in a collaborative developer environment. While things have pivoted a little bit, I think the ethos of how we try to approach developers in this ecosystem has stayed the same. A lot of the workshops that we did for the Redacted Hackathon, those are really, I think, pretty great. Just even if like some of that technology maybe is even a little bit outdated because projects have either grown or whatever else. It's been almost 6 months now, maybe more than that. And so some of that they, but I think the process is always important. We so often get caught up as developers in like being focused on just the technology, and like a lot of times if you really think about it, the technology is, again, it's just maybe a different language. It's just a different wrap around what your idea is. You still have to execute on that. And so I think a lot of that hackathon and workshop stuff is actually pretty beneficial to just understand building products, leveraging different SDKs, things like that. We did a fun episode last summer ranking tooling. Definitely something we probably should go back and looking at like what we feel is, how the tooling has changed, how it has grown. So I think those points in time are cool to kind of go back and see. We've had a lot of really awesome, really interesting guests come on here and talk about just not even just like what they're building, but again, how they are leveraging different technology in Web3, what their vision is for getting developers to use their platform. So things like that. And it's obviously some stuff that's really coming in the future too. And if we look at, what is actually there, so you can see here in the top screen, here it is, our YouTube channel. You can go back and see all of them. But there's some really episodes that I think that are really pretty great to go back. And I'll kind of work from more recent all the way back. Episode 47 with Peter. Again, it's about Wasm mostly. Some of the stuff that he's also done here, some different projects he's done here with his music and everything else. Definitely worth checking out, understanding more about like how Wasm fits into that. There is some really interesting stuff around, again, like Templar and how DeFi with Bitcoin works with like chain abstraction and things like that. Curate Fund, again, GrowthMate. These are projects that again are focusing on user engagement, are definitely worth checking out. We've had Bite in a few different formats come on, both as workshops as well as just talking about their product. And that's an interesting one. They have gone, multi-chain. They're doing all these different things, and I think it's just nice to see some of the evolution of, if you go back to the very early episodes with them on it, and then to where they are today, is really an interesting journey. We did, again, a lot of different workshops, but we also had some stuff around AI that is, not so tangible, but things that start to kind of be built on top of, like Asimov protocol. That whole conversation is still one of my favorite. Just really understanding about how, when we talk about user-owned data and what that really means and all stuff like that. We've had, the team of Aurora come on, talk about near intents. Again, another great conversation. Nightly Wallet really did a great conversation talking about like what it means to actually build a wallet, what that looks like, what it means to go multi-chain, stuff like that. We've had different, a lot of different wrap up, a lot of different hackathon things. Uh, we did, again, some episodes where we focused on different AI tooling, right, especially around the redacted hackathon. Definitely some cool stuff there. We did some crossover episodes with the foundation. We've done a lot of different things here around that. Again, Infra committee, the graph protocol, all kind of came on. Alex Shevchenko from Aurora came on talking about some of the different things. This was like early, almost like preview to Intense, talking about like the wallet changes they were working on, and really kind of led to what you now see is inside the Intense for that. And it's a great opportunity to see the life cycle of all this stuff being built. So I definitely encourage you guys to go back and check out some of this different stuff. One of the other things here that I think for myself, again, lessons that are clear takeaways. One, community driven development. Empowering developers is such an important opportunity for any chain or any piece of technology. And so the more that we can do that is really important. And so we want to hopefully keep doing that going forward. The repeat guest, the guests that are doing similar but slightly different things over time, looking at the evolution of what the different like key topics are. That continuous iteration is really, really important. I definitely want to continue to highlight that. Collaboration culture. You see a lot of these interviews that talk about working with other projects, being able to be open for others to collaborate with them, other projects be able to integrate with them. Again, I think it's all there. It's all really interesting, exciting stuff. And one of the parts that for myself, again, I really want to highlight is that like Near is a very dynamic and diverse ecosystem. There is a lot to do here and a lot that you can build. And I think that is something that maybe is not well highlighted. And so I definitely want to make sure that we are absolutely highlighting as much of that as possible and showing that like it doesn't have to just be one pathway to come build here like some other changes, some other places. You have a lot of different flexibility with different opportunities here. And we're going to highlight hopefully some of that stuff in future episodes with some of the guests that we have planned and lined up. Another thing that, before I wrap up here is I want to tie in and talk a little bit about the Near AI office hours and some of the recapping there and some of what I think why these type of developer programs are so important and that I hope that you are going back and watching. So one of the things that we started to do at DevHub was to actually summarize and break down some of the office hour episodes. That content didn't do great, but I do think it's important to take some of that and learn from it and get a sense of, again, what can be learned from all of these different videos. And if I don't want to go watch 40 hours of content, what can I get out of it? And for myself, I think it was important. I didn't want to do a whole episode on this, but I do want to take a few minutes here this week as we're doing kind of this bonus retrospective that we tie into this as well. The AI office hour recap for me has, I would say, a handful of key takeaways that I hope others are able to see as well if they go back and watch this. But if you don't go back and watch this, I think if nothing else, we can clip this and you can see what I'm talking about here. One is one of the main topics has always been throughout all of these episodes is that there's actually some simplicity by tying AI into blockchain. And one of those things really is about saying, look, AI agents have all these complex tasks that they can handle, and they can handle these different also like human like instructions. But then you need to actually know like what is happening behind the scenes. And that blockchain can actually add that verifiable layer, that secure layer. And that's something that's really important. So it takes that frustrating digital task, and now all of a sudden you have this like reliable interaction that you can track. And because of that, and because of what you're seeing in a lot of these different videos and a lot of these office hours, is a lot of things are all tied to AI agents. AI agents are very popular. Microsoft even just did this whole agentic layer themselves. And so like this is just something that like it's here in different formats, and how this gets managed is going to vary. And as agents start to grow and get smarter and work on more of like your own digital life, you use them more as a tool. Again, you need to have that transparent, traceable, safe from tampering type of transactions, and know exactly like what are these agents doing for you, and can you verify it. Through the AI office hours, another theme that really came up that I think is different than some of the stuff that you're seeing right now from the larger AI companies is that decentralization is becoming a design principle for a lot of them. And that's a really interesting concept. And I think it's showing in different forms. If you listen to some of the different talks and some of these different episodes here, but some of it goes from like, more community powered ecosystem. Some of it goes from like truly just decentralization because like leveraging blockchain, like it's all different formats of some kind of decentralization. And so I do think that's really important. And like the easy example is that like you can get your AI from like a supermarket, right? Which is obviously like more centralized, or do you get your AI from like a farmer's market? And like now you have these two different things. Blockchain's role in all of that, though, can also be one of incentivizing both the users, the data providers, the programs, the agents, all the different pieces. And so that's where, if you can leverage blockchain with this, is really pretty interesting. And so a lot of projects are thinking about that. So that theme came up a lot throughout these all the different episodes. And then, because Near's focus is around like user owned and being the blockchain for AI, you have things around like, I guess the ethics, right, for lack of a better term, but the accountability and transparency of it, which I've kind of mentioned already. But like, again, the AI systems everyone in these videos are talking about should really be explainable. They should be fair. I should be able to audit them in some form. And the blockchain really fits in well with that. And so I think that's a really important piece too. Lastly, a theme that for me stuck out was something I would refer to as practical optimism. And what I mean by that is like everyone, for the most part, was very positive about like where AI could go, what could be built, what are the possibilities. And a lot of it really is around saying like, if you can leverage tools and leverage things like blockchain or something that make things easier, they make things more transparent, they make things maybe more fair. I make things in a way that I can actually financially incentivize the different actors related to all of this. It changes what AI is. The doom and gloom and scariness of some of it starts to go away when you can pull in these pieces. And that is a major theme that really resonated through many, many episodes as I was going back and reviewing a lot of these. So, and again, I think it's the part that, again, for me, this is probably my own personal thing, and people might take it differently, but like, I always felt like, even if they weren't saying it, a lot of the people on these things were saying like, all of this stuff empowers people, not just empowers like the technology. So like you can then leverage it like that. And so I think all of this stuff together is really, really interesting. There's a lot of really great episodes. I'm not necessarily going to highlight any specific one. If there's a different guest you want to go listen to, I suggest that you do. They're really interesting interviews. But those are the main themes there. And I say all of this, and I bring up, the DevHub retrospective, the Near AI retrospective, because right now, I think there is so much untapped content that is here for developers and for builders and potential founders on Near already. And I really hope that we're able to kind of continue to get this out in front of you. So if there's something that you are looking for that you don't know where it is, maybe we can point you to it. If there's stuff that you'd like to see that is not existing right now, we definitely want you to reach out. We have our different groups here, been scrolling at the bottom. Please subscribe to our newsletter. We have all of this information also going out regularly through our newsletter as well. But it's a really exciting time to be building, period. Like, forget about the price or whatever else. There's just so much opportunity still out there for those who want to experiment, for those who want to tinker, for those who want to actually build a business or a project. These opportunities are here. So I really appreciate all the support we have gotten so far through the 48 episodes and then some. And I really am looking forward to, hopefully the next 50 or more. And really, it's an opportunity again for us to continue to keep growing, and hopefully for you as a builder, founder, developer, tech enthusiast too as well. As I mentioned, we will be live next week with a guest. We have Aurora coming on, talking about some of their new different programs that are happening over there, and some stuff with their virtual chains. And then after that is episode 50, in which we have a very special event for them. We're releasing more information about that as well as we get a little bit closer. But until then, I am your host, Joe. This has been DevHub Live, bonus retrospective of this and obviously some near AI stuff. And I am excited to see you live next week, leading up to episode 50. Again, subscribe to our newsletter and take care. Bye now.